Welcome back. I'm Calvin Statue Fanatic here with another review, and one that I am very excited to do. I've had this piece for a while and I have finally gotten around to doing this review for a few reasons, because this happens to be my favorite statue of the year here. What you're not going to see from me is an unboxing of this guy because he was challenging to unbox. George and I did this in Japan. We put this guy together in Japan. We were actually racing Caleb and his girlfriend to put Devilman versus Amen together, which they kind of cheated. He designed the statue, so of course they beat us. But we had such a challenge putting this together, so I figured when I get the one in hand that of course it wouldn't be that challenging. They'd change some things. No, just as challenging. So what I'm going to say is that please head over to MCE on YouTube and watch George's unboxing of this guy. He is great at these unboxings. I suck and I don't like them, but he does a great job unboxing this guy. He does a great job with the dimensions, talking about it. And there were a few errors in the assembly guide that you definitely want to pay attention to. So while you're putting it together, so please, 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 if you are into the unboxing and if you are having problems putting yours together, George is probably the best bet to make sure that you do it right and get it put together. But with that said, let's talk a little bit about what came in the box. I have the certificate of authenticity. It says Trigun Vash The Stampede 20th Anniversary Edition. Has a seal here. This is 128 of 400 pieces that were made, and this was signed by the CEO, Shinab. Pretty cool right there. It also came with this epic looking art print, which is really freaking awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And it came with the assembly guide. Now, like I said, George can help you put this together. You're still gonna need this book because it is a challenge to put together, but when you figure it out, it goes together really simple, really easy, but it definitely is a challenge. And what you see here is a lot of pieces. But one of the things that I do want to point out, when I did get this, the only thing that disappointed me when I got this was that I got it from Big Bad Toy Store, and New York Comic Con was coming, was about around the corner when it came out. So it was more than a month when I unboxed this. And when I unboxed this, there's supposed to be this metal coin that comes with it. And I was really excited to get that coin. And I have looked in every crevice, crack of the styrofoam 100 times, and the coin is not in there. And I'm pretty sure it's supposed to come with one. We saw it in Japan, and it looked really, really awesome. So if one of you guys got a statue, it got 2 coins, it's probably mine. But anyway, hey, hit me up if you've got an extra one. But I'll reach out to Figurama and see if I can get a coin for this guy to display with it, because I think the coin is pretty awesome too. Other than that, the statue was just flawless when I took it out of the packaging. So, but we'll get started with the statue and with the review of the statue. But what I want to say is, I remember when we were in Japan, my brother was there as well. And he interviewed, I think it was Casey from Figurama. He interviewed her and they were talking about this statue. And I've watched the interview a couple of times because my brother was asking, what should I do or what should I look for if I decide to get into the statue collecting business and start doing, this? And she said, one of the things that you should look for is story. And what I have to say is that Figurama has done an amazing job with their dynamic dioramas in telling great stories. Whether it be Caleb Nefson's Attack on Titan, Devilman versus Amen, this statue, quite a few of the other ones, Tokyo Ghoul. When you look at those statues, they are extremely dynamic, full of energy, and they tell some really cool stories. You can look at this and pretty much in your mind put a story together of what's happening. I really love that about the statues. Now, some of you guys that have seen me in person know that I'm not a really small guy at all. I'm about 6 foot tall and not small. I'm not like big or anything, but not small. And you can see how this compares to me in terms of size. This is one massive statue. It is huge. So we'll start talking about the statue. As you can see, this is Vash, and he is in this incredible dynamic pose. I'll turn it around and you can just see it's almost like this guy needs to be on some type of mirror display so that you can see everything behind him, in front of him, below him, the entire nine. So I just talk about, before we get into the particulars about the statue, sculpt, detail, paint, and all of that stuff, let's just talk about a few of the elements that are on the statue. On the statue, you have this metal pipe here that's bent. We have to figure out where that goes. There's another sign here that says wanted. And I think, let me see if I can, and Casey says this so easy off her tongue, and I get tongue-tied every time I try to say it. The $60 billion double dollar Bounty. I think that's what it says. But anyway, you can see the wanted sign right there. And then you can see him with the glasses that come off, that comes off. There's just, in the pipe here, there's just a lot of elements going on in the statues. We'll start with the pose. He's on one foot, leaning in with his gun pointed. You can see the bullet coming out of the tip of the gun right there, and the blast firing back. You see his hand on the trigger. Very well sculpted, lots of detail. This translucent material of the blast is all over the statue. You can see pieces of those everywhere, and each individual piece comes apart, and you have to find out where it goes. But they kind of fit pretty uniquely in each individual slot, so you kind of really can't make a mistake in where they go, because when you put it somewhere and it doesn't go there, you can kind of tell it's probably not the place that it goes. But you can see these blasts all around the statue. And then, like I said, he's wearing glasses, and those actually come off. You can take those off, but I don't think I will leave those on, the glasses. And then the outfit that he's wearing, the flow and the motion in the outfit is just awesome. All of the different elements of the outfit, you can see where it's battered and torn. The trench coat type cape thing that he's wearing, I guess, if you will. It's more of a trench coat, I guess. But the detail in it is just absolutely phenomenal. I love it. It's great. As I turn it around, I'm going to try to make this short because this video can be very, very long because there's just so much going on with the statue. Here on the back, lots of detail and sculpting on the back of the statue as well. And then as you go down to his legs and his boots, again, tons of just texture and detail in it. It just looks so amazing. And this touch is just incredible. It has this sand that's glued to his feet. It looks like real sand. It probably is real sand the way that it looks. But however they did it, he's got dirt, like legit sand on his feet. And that sand is also in the crevice of all of this debris that's blowing up here. And one of the really cool things is you can see these bright green eyes of this black cat that's here in the debris. The cat actually has a name. Her name is Kirinoki-sama. And if I didn't say it right, fans don't yell at me, but I think I heard Casey say it, and it's Kirinoki-sama. But anyway, a little bit about the cat. The cat, I've watched the anime now because this is one of the statues that I ended up buying, being attracted to, and ended up watching the anime as a result of the statue coming out, because I didn't really know much about it until I saw this statue introduced a couple of years ago. So the cat tends to show up, like I was listening to Casey, and it's true, in every episode in some way. And usually when all the chaos is going on, the cat kind of runs out of the chaos, and she really doesn't have any significant plot. It doesn't seem in there. It's just like almost an Easter egg. When will you spot the cat running out from somewhere? But that's really cool. And this is a tiny statue in itself. The cat here. And you kind of just place her right in here. And that is a really cool touch too. Like I said, really cool that their pieces tell stories. And then as you look at the base is just epic. There is so much detail. Like I mentioned the sand. The sand is all over the base, everywhere in these cracks and crevices from this blast being blown up. You can see the sand being blown around here in these crevices. The texture in the base is just really awesome. The coloring and all that's pretty awesome. There is like sand in these crevices and cracks. There's this rhubarb type metal, it looks like, within the concrete here. It's all sculpted and it's resin, but it looks like metal sticking out of there. Each of these really big pieces are separate, and you have to put them together individually, which is pretty freaking epic. I keep saying everything about the sculpt and everything and how great of a job they did with this, but let's talk about the paint application. There was a time when there was another company that everybody was raving about how well their paint came out and their statues came out great every single time. This company has matched or exceeded that, in my opinion. The paint application on here, it just simply seems to be flawless, in my opinion. I haven't been able to find anything that has concerned me, anything that looks out of place whatsoever. Everything from the bottom of the base here to the tones and the shading and everything looks great. Now, some of the minute details, for example, the buttons and the pins that are on his outfit here. Now, this is a very good chance where you could have the red paint just like splattered or maybe some sloppy areas on that, and I didn't find any. And the same thing with the black in terms of it being on the jacket. I didn't find any of that either. And then as far as where the outfit folds and creases and everything, just lots of shading does a really good job in highlighting the torn and battered appearance of this particular outfit that he's wearing. Same thing all the way around, just looks great. Even the shading on the weapon that he is holding has a lot of shading, looks metal. You can see his hand on the trigger. The creasing in the gloves that he's wearing looks awesome. The shading on the boots look pretty amazing. So I keep going on and on about this statue. Now, a lot of statue collectors like to hear, so what's bad about it? It's really hard to say what's bad about this statue because there's really nothing that I can point out that's bad about the statue or anything that concerns me about it. It is well balanced. Nothing in here seems to be flimsy or anything like that. When I was putting it together, I was nervous that some of the way that these pieces of the rock and the base goes together is going to make it pretty flimsy and they could fall out or whatever. The magnets were really strong where they needed to be strong, and the way it fit into the different pieces fit together was just like a glove. And as you turn it around, you can't see any seams pretty much where these things fit together. There is one seam that you can see, and it's on his arm that's holding the gun. There is a seam that you can see there, but however, the way that it is designed, it almost looks like it's just him bending his arm to some degree, but you can see that there is a seam there. It doesn't bother me one bit. The paint application on his face and his eyebrows and things like that, and in his hair, the two tones, the blonde and the darker color in his hair, all looks really good. The earring in his ear sculpted well. Everything about it just looks really awesome. So if I would actually rate this statue, I mean, I would definitely give this statue like a 9 out of 10. And you probably ask, well, if it's that great, why not give it a 10? One, there was some issues with the instructions and things like that and putting it together, and it was pretty complicated to put together. So maybe in that regard, but the packaging, how it was packaged, everything like that, it was great. It came in perfect condition. There was nothing that was wrong with it. The only thing that happened was something that I did. I didn't pay close enough attention to how I should put these belts in here, and I ended up snapping that, which I think I can glue, or again, I'll probably reach out to Figurama and see if maybe that one little piece I can get replaced. I'll even pay to have it replaced, but that was my fault. It wasn't from it coming flawed or anything like that. But other than that, this is an epic piece from Figurama. These guys are blowing up. Check them out on their website. They have a number of licenses that are coming out. What I really love about Figurama is this. They themselves are collectors. So they are making things that they would want to own, which is really awesome because these characters are beloved by a lot of people, but in mainstream pop culture, if you will, they probably don't have a big enough following that the big companies would take this on. And the fact that they're doing this is really awesome. And every time they post a piece, it sells out immediately. And I think that is pretty awesome. So kudos to Figurama. I am a huge fan and I can't wait to get my next piece, which is Alucard. And that is gonna be another beast of a piece. I didn't get to see it in person in Japan when I was there because they didn't have that piece there, but I'm looking forward to getting that. Well, that concludes my review of Trigun Vash The Stampede 20th Anniversary Edition from Figurama. And remember, people, to always collect what you like and not the hype. And if you want to stay on top of the latest in the world of collecting, please head over to MCEcentral.com. That's Marvel's Collectible and Entertainments, where you can find some of the latest and coolest unboxings of some of your favorite pop culture characters. So until next time, my friends, peace.